The world had changed after the invasion. America was no longer the land of neon skylines and endless freedom. It had become a fortress of steel and fear. Cities still stood, but their hearts were broken. The war with the stars had left scars deeper than any human could see. And in one of those ruined strongholds, a massive scrapyard on the outskirts of Chicago, stood Aleena. She was unlike anyone who walked the earth. Silver-white hair spilled over her armored shoulders, catching the faint glow of shattered neon lights. Her skin shimmered faintly, laced with traces of alien technology that pulsed like veins of fire. On her face, glowing fragments of metallic scars told a silent story. She was not fully human anymore. To the soldiers who watched her, she was an enemy. To the scientists who studied her, she was a weapon. But to herself, she was just the last survivor of a home that no longer existed. Aleena's planet had been destroyed when the United States launched its orbital strike during the Great Alien War. Her people were gone, her culture turned to ashes. And now she was chained in the very land that had ended her world. Inside the scrapyard, the place smelled of smoke, oil, and blood. Human soldiers patrolled the broken corridors, their rifles slung across their backs. Some looked at Aleena with hatred, others with fear. But one man's eyes lingered differently. His name was Elias Carter, a young American soldier born in a small town in Texas, raised on stories of patriotism and honor. He had believed in the war. He had believed they were protecting Earth from invaders. But when he saw Aleena, fragile, beautiful, her eyes glowing with sorrow instead of rage, something inside him shifted. She wasn't a monster. She wasn't a weapon. She was someone. Dialogue, first meeting. Aleena is chained, sitting on a steel crate. Elias approaches with water. Elias, here. You need this more than anyone here. Aleena, coldly, why help me, soldier? Aren't you afraid I'll bite? Elias, quietly, you don't look like someone who wants to bite. You look tired. Aleena, her glowing eyes narrow, suspicious, but softened slightly. Tired doesn't even begin to explain it. She took the water, her hands trembling as the alien tattoos across her skin pulsed faintly. That night, as soldiers mocked her, Elias sat alone, questioning. Who was truly the enemy, the alien girl in chains? Or the men who had burned her world in the name of security? The scrapyard was never quiet. Machines hissed, soldiers laughed harshly, and somewhere in the shadows, broken drones sparked faintly as they decayed. But inside, Aleena sat in silence, her chains humming faintly with an energy she could feel in her bones. Elias had returned. He wasn't supposed to. Soldiers weren't allowed near her without clearance, but somehow he always found a way. This time, he carried not just water, but a small piece of bread, wrapped in paper. Aleena's glowing eyes locked on him. Aleena, why? Elias, shrugging, nervous, because you need it. And because I can't stand watching the others treat you like you're less than human. Aleena, bitter laugh, less than human is all I'll ever be to them. Her voice cracked, not with anger, but with exhaustion. For the first time, Elias saw past the armor and glowing scars. He saw the girl inside, the one who had lost everything. Narration. Night after night he came. He didn't ask for secrets. He didn't demand knowledge of her technology. Instead, he asked about her home. And slowly, she told him. Aleena spoke of Vayara, a world of twin suns, oceans so clear they reflected the stars, and forests that glowed with living light. She spoke of laughter, of music, of a people who believed in harmony rather than conquest. And then she spoke of the day it ended. How Earth's ships darkened her skies. How the bombardments shattered her cities. How her family's screams still echoed in her mind. As her voice broke, Elias's fists clenched in shame. Elias, they told us you were invaders, that you came to enslave us. Aleena, glaring, do I look like a conqueror? My people never wanted war. But your leaders, they needed an enemy. The secret plan. One evening, Elias overheard officers in the command tent. Their words chilled him. We'll transfer her to Washington. The scientists are ready. The core inside her, whatever it is, will rip it out and weaponize it. Elias froze. The Varen core. He didn't know what it was, but he knew it lived inside Aleena. And if they ripped it out, she would die. That night, when he brought her food again, his hands shook. Elias, Aleena, what's the core? Aleena, voice low, distant, it is my world's heart. A fragment of Vara's soul, found inside me. As long as it beats, my people are not truly gone. Elias, and if they take it? Aleena, her eyes burned, tears threatening, then everything dies. Even the memory. The bond grows. For the first time, Elias reached out, not as a soldier, but as a man. His hand brushed hers, cold against the strange warmth of her glowing veins. Elias, I won't let them hurt you. Aleena, studying him with disbelief, you'd betray your own kind? For me. Elias, after a long silence, for what's right. Something passed between them then, fragile, unspoken, but powerful. She had lost her world, and he had lost his faith in his. In each other, they found a piece of something both thought gone, hope. The night was heavy with storm clouds above Chicago. Thunder rolled across the city, masking the hum of generators and the boots of soldiers patrolling the scrapyard. Inside her steel cage, Aleena sat with her eyes closed, feeling the rhythm of the Varen core pulsing faintly in her chest. Each beat was slower now, weaker, because the humans had been experimenting with dampeners that drained her life force. Her head lifted suddenly. She felt it, danger. Elias entered moments later, his face pale. Elias, whispering, they're moving you tonight. Straight to Washington. Once you're there, there's no coming back. Aleena, cold, resigned, then this is my end. Elias, stepping closer, desperate, not if I can help it. I'm getting you out. The plan. He showed her a stolen key card, trembling in his hands. He had disabled 2 cameras already. He had no backup, no reinforcements. Just him and his choice. Aleena, staring at him, her voice breaking. Elias, you'll be branded a traitor. They'll hunt you. Elias, then let them hunt me. But I won't stand by while they tear the last of your world apart. For the first time, Aleena smiled faintly, though her eyes glistened. The breakout. As alarms rang in the distance, Elias unlocked her chains. The plasma restraints hissed and fell away. For a moment, Aleena just stared at her freed hands, trembling. She whispered something in her language, soft, melodic, almost like a prayer. Then she looked at him. Aleena, run. They slipped through the scrapyard, weaving between piles of broken machines. But soon, a spotlight cut across the yard. Freeze, a soldier shouted. Gunfire erupted. Elias dragged her behind a pile of steel, bullets sparking around them. Elias, breathing hard, we're not gonna make it unless. Before he could finish, Aleena stepped forward, her eyes glowing. The core inside her awakened. The power unleashed. Energy flared from her body, bending the air. Her armor fused tighter against her skin, glowing veins crawling up her arms. She raised her hand, and a pulse of force rippled outward. Soldiers were thrown back, not dead, but stunned, their weapons fried in an instant. Elias stared, awestruck. For the first time, he saw what she truly was, not just a survivor, but a living remnant of an entire world's power. Elias, you could have killed them. Aleena, her voice trembling, I don't want to become what they believe I am. Cornered. But more soldiers poured in. Armored vehicles roared at the scrapyard gates, headlights cutting through the smoke. Drones lifted into the air, targeting her. Elias raised his rifle, even though he knew it was useless. Elias, Aleena, what now? Aleena, closing her eyes, steadying herself now. I show them that hope still lives. She placed her hand against his chest, the core glowing brighter. A pulse of warmth spread into him, courage, strength, something beyond human. The scrapyard exploded in chaos. Searchlights swept the ruins, sirens screamed, and armored trucks tore through the gates with their engines roaring like beasts. Above, drones buzzed through the smoke-filled night sky, their targeting lasers locking onto Aleena. Soldiers shouted, boots pounding against wet concrete as thunder cracked overhead. But in the center of it all stood Aleena, her silver-white hair whipping in the wind, her glowing eyes blazing brighter with each heartbeat of the Varen core inside her chest. Elias stood at her side, rifle shaking in his grip. He had no illusions one man couldn't fight an army. But standing next to her, somehow, he felt braver than he ever had before. The storm breaks. The first drone fired. A bolt of plasma screamed toward them. Aleena lifted her hand. The world went silent for a heartbeat, and then the blast froze in the air, its energy warping and twisting before shattering into harmless sparks. Gasps echoed from the soldiers. Aleena's voice rang out low and resonant. Aleena, I am not your weapon. I am not your enemy. But if you force me, I will defend what little I have left. Her body erupted with light. Veins of glowing silver spread across her arms, her armor fusing into living plates of alien steel. The ground trembled as the core awakened fully for the first time since her world's destruction. The battle. The soldiers opened fire. Bullets screamed, tracer rounds cutting through the rain. Aleena moved like living lightning. Energy flared from her hands, bending metal midair, turning bullets into ash before they touched her. Drones fell from the sky, their circuits fried by waves of Varen power. Elias ran beside her, covering her flank, firing bursts to keep soldiers pinned. His heart pounded not out of fear, but out of awe. She wasn't just fighting to survive. She was fighting to prove something, that even in the ashes, mercy still mattered. The turning point. One soldier broke through, a captain with a heavy plasma cannon. He aimed directly at Elias. Elias froze. He couldn't dodge in time. Aleena, he shouted. Her eyes snapped toward him. Time seemed to slow. She thrust her hand forward, not at the captain, but at Elias. A shield of shimmering alien energy flared into existence around him just as the plasma blast struck. The impact rippled like a wave of water before dissolving into sparks. Elias fell to his knees, staring up at her in disbelief. Elias, you saved me. Aleena, panting, her glow dimming from the strain. I won't lose anyone else. Humanity watches. Through helmet cams and satellite feeds, everything was being broadcast back to U.S. command. Generals and scientists watched in silence as Aleena fought, but they didn't see a monster. They saw something else. A survivor. A protector. A being who could have slaughtered every soldier in her path, but instead chose restraint. And in the chaos of the battlefield, Elias realized the truth. Elias, they'll see this, Aleena. They'll see who you really are. Aleena, looking at him, her eyes fierce and vulnerable at once, then maybe there is still hope for your kind. The battlefield fell silent. Rain poured over twisted steel, scorched earth, and the unconscious forms of soldiers who only minutes ago had been firing with all their might. The smoke began to clear, revealing the scrapyard transformed into something almost unrecognizable, burnt, broken, but alive. And in the center of it all stood Aleena, her body trembling, the glow of the Varen core fading to a softer light. Each breath came ragged, but she remained standing. At her side, Elias lowered his rifle, his chest heaving. He had survived something impossible, not because of his weapon, not because of his training, but because of her. After the storm, Elias touched her arm gently. Elias, Aleena, you did it. They're pulling back. Aleena, weak smile, eyes heavy, no. I only bought us time. Your commanders will never stop hunting me. They can't see past their fear. She swayed, nearly collapsing. Elias caught her, holding her close, feeling her heartbeat. Strange and rhythmic, like music instead of a pulse. Elias, then we'll run. Together. Aleena, studying him, her voice fragile, you would leave your world behind. For me? Elias, softly, with resolve, not for you. For what's right. For what's human. The message. Above them, distant drones hovered, recording everything. Elias realized this fight, this moment, was being watched all across America. Generals, politicians, citizens, they had seen Aleena. Not a monster. not a weapon, but a girl who fought with mercy, who spared lives even when she could have destroyed everything. And in that silent broadcast, humanity faced its reflection. The choice. Aleena lifted her hand, and for a moment, her glow flared again. She could unleash one last surge of power, wipe out the drones, vanish into the night with Elias. But she didn't. Instead, she lowered her hand. Aleena, let them see me. Let them see the truth. If humanity has any hope left, it begins here. Elias squeezed her hand tighter. For the first time since the war began, he believed her. The fragile spark. The rain eased, the storm clouds breaking just enough for moonlight to shine on them. Together, a soldier of Earth and the last daughter of Veara walked through the wreckage, side by side. They didn't know if tomorrow would bring freedom or capture. They didn't know if humanity would embrace hope or fall deeper into fear. But for this moment, this fragile, fleeting moment, they carried something greater than war or politics. They carried the spark of two worlds that refused to die.
Like and subscribe.